day, grade 9 students. Welcome to English Talk. I am Mrs. Myra Fuentes, your English teacher, and today we are going to discuss another interesting topic.
Before we begin our lesson, let's identify our learning objectives. First, analyze literature as a means of understanding unchanging values in the VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. And second, determine the elements of the story.
Are you ready? Let's start! Sit back and enjoy while learning. Don't forget to prepare your paper and pen. A Gulf News article says, in an era of modern media, such as television and movies, people are misled into thinking that every question or problem has its quick correction or solution. However, literature confirms the real complexity of human conflict. It is a reflection of humanity and a way for us to understand each other. By listening to the voice of another person, we can begin to figure out what that individual thinks. Literature is important because of its purpose in our society. Becoming increasingly detached from human interaction, literature creates a conversation. We are going to have another activity called Then versus Now. With a given title, I believe that you already have an idea on what you're going to do. So here is the instructions. I'm going to present to you a pair of images. And what you're going to do is try to describe them. Are you ready? Let's start!
Let's have the first set of images. What do the images show? Very good! We have the same thoughts. The images show how the taste of the Filipinas in clothing styles and fashion sense change dramatically as time passes. Despite this constant flux, there is always at least one trend that takes over the fashion world every year. Now, let's have the second set. What can you say? Sounds familiar? That's it! The second set of images show the shift in children's hobbies and interests. Before, children loved to play outdoor games. But nowadays, children rather choose to be at home playing games with their gadgets. I know you're smiling right now because you agree with me, but I believe that you're still interested in outdoor activities. And the last pictures? What do the images show? Of course, you are in the right track. The images show how courting evolves. It has been part of our society's transformation. Before, it's a tradition to have harana. Some of our traditions in courting remains at present, but there are some people who are more likely to know each other through gadgets or computer by the use of online dating app or social media. These images prove that there is no permanent thing in this world, only change. And as the world changes, we need to be adaptive. And our values must be intact so we can resolve the issues and conflicts brought about by these changes.
And speaking of values, I am going to take you to the world of the characters in the story Thank You Ma'am, written by Langston Hughes. They will teach us some important values in life that will serve as our weapons in this fast-changing world. So are you excited to meet them? Hold on! Before that, let's have first some relevant information about the author.
James Mercer Langston Hughes, or commonly known as Langston Hughes, was born on February 1, 1902 in Joplin, Missouri. His parents divorced when he was still young, so he was raised by his grandmother. When he was 13, he moved to Lincoln, Illinois to live with his mother and her husband, before they have finally settled in Cleveland, Ohio. It was in Lincoln that Hughes began writing poetry. After finishing high school, he spent a year in Mexico and another year in Columbia University. During this period of time, he worked as an assistant cook, launderer, and busboy. He also worked as a seaman and was able to travel to Africa and Europe. In 1924, he moved to Washington, D.C., and in 1926, his first book of poetry entitled The Weary Blues was published by Alfred Knopf. He was an American writer who was an important figure in the Harlem Renaissance and made African Americans experience the subject of his writings. He wrote various poetry, plays, novels, newspaper columns, and essays. He wrote Thank You Ma'am to capture the demeaning effects of oppression due to racism. It depicts the real lives of blacks in the lower social economy. Hughes died due to complications from prostate cancer on May 22, 1967 in New York City.
Langston had an interesting life, and his influence will never stop. He and his works will be forever an inspiration to many. So, now I think you are ready to watch the video of the story, Thank You Ma'am. If you wish to read the full text, it is found in your learning module. To help you understand the story, try to answer the following guide questions as you watch the video. You can write your answers on a piece of paper.
Who were the characters? Describe them. Where and when the story took place? What is the conflict in the story? How did they resolve the issue? What important lessons can we learn from the story?
Now, here's the video. Watch attentively.
Pick up my pocketbook, boy, and give it here. Ain't you ashamed of yourself? What did you want to do that for?
I didn't mean to.
Lie! If I let you go, would you run?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I won't let you go.
Lady, please, I'm sorry.
And your face is dirty. You don't got nobody home to wash your face?
No, ma'am.
Then it will get washed. You came in contact with me, young man. If you think I'm gonna let you go, you got another thing coming. You ought to be my son. I would have raised you right. Least I could do is wash your face. Are you hungry?
No, I just want to be turned loose.
I bother you when I turn the corner? Boy, what's your name?
Roger, ma'am.
How about you go over there to that sink and wash your face and wipe it with that towel over there? It's clean.
Yes, ma'am.
Let it run till it turns warm.
Am I getting into trouble?
Now, once you look in the mess, I wouldn't take you nowhere. All I was trying to do was come home and eat. Then you wanted to snatch my purse. Well, did you eat? Late at night stealing people's purses. Well, did you?
There's no one home, ma'am.
Then you'll eat. I think you're hungry or been hungry trying to snatch my pocketbook.
I just wanted some new shoes.
You should have just asked. I was young like you once, and I wanted things I couldn't get. You thought I was gonna say but didn't you? Snatching my pocketbook. Have a seat while I'm making something to eat. Go ahead, eat up. And here's $20 for some new shoes. And I don't want to see you snatching nobody else's purse.
Thank you, man.
Were you able to answer the guide questions? Let's check your answers.
Let's answer the first question. Who were the characters in the story? Let us use the STEAL method to describe them. STEAL stands for what the characters say, think, effects on others and to them, their actions and looks. Take a look on the table. First, let's have what the characters say. From the line said by Mrs. Jones to Roger, "You ought to be my son. I would teach you right from wrong." We can say that Mrs. Jones is compassionate. And when Roger said this line to Mrs. Jones, "I wanted a pair of blue suede shoes," we can say that Roger is honest. Next, what are the characters' thoughts? Mrs. Jones showed empathy because after Roger tried to steal her purse, she did not embarrass him. And Roger showed trustworthiness when he did not think of running away from Mrs. Jones' house. Third, effects on others and others' effect on them. Mrs. Jones showed her mother's side in spite the fact that Roger tries to steal her purse. She gave him food and money. She is a generous and caring woman. While Roger showed respect. When Mrs. Jones started asking him questions, he answers her politely. Fourth, what are the characters' actions? Mrs. Jones showed that she is tough because when Roger tries to snatch her purse, he comes off lying flat on his back on the sidewalk. While based on his action, we can say that Roger is poor and impertinent. Lastly, physical appearance. Based on the character's physical attributes in the video, we can describe Mrs. Jones as an old black woman, while Roger is a dirty young black boy. Next, where and when the story happened. The story happened one evening in one of the streets in Harlem, New York, where the author himself lived. Mrs. Jones lives in a boarding house or apartment building with other people. Her apartment is small and suggests that it is one-room flat because their bedroom and the kitchen are in the same room. Third, what is the conflict in the story? First, it's man versus man because Roger tries to snatch Mrs. Jones' purse. More so, it's man versus himself because Roger wants to run away when he was in Mrs. Jones' house, but he did not do it because he did not want to disappoint Mrs. Jones. This scene shows how he struggled to himself. How did they resolve the issue? Mrs. Jones took Roger in her house and treated him nicely. She talked to him, gave him food and money, so he can buy the blue suede shoes that he desires. What important lessons can we learn from the story? Human kindness has never weakened the stamina or softened the fiber of free people. A nation does not have to be cruel to be tough, according to Franklin D. Roosevelt. The story teaches us how to be kind in spite of the difficult circumstances that's happening to our lives and in spite of our social status. It cures all the hardships in life and it is powerful than punishment.
Do you think Mrs. Jones and Roger are much alive in the modern world? Yes, there are many Roger nowadays. They are the children in the slum areas, streets, orphanage, and juvenile detention centers. And the modern Mrs. Jones are the teachers, volunteers, health workers, philanthropists, and others who cared for the less fortunate children. Poverty is one of the social issues that we are facing right now. We have to make a stand and help, even in a little way, to resolve this problem. What about the other social issues that we are facing right now in this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world? The spread of pandemics like COVID-19 or other similar disruptions could become more and more common. In times of this, what are the important values that we should remember? In our next activity, different situations are shown and there are scrambled letters below. Arrange them to form the important values shown by the people in the given situations. Write your answers on a piece of paper.
Time's up! Check your answer. Number 1. The hidden word is teamwork. Wonderful things happen when the people unite for a certain cause and have a goal to achieve. These people who are also part of the frontliners have done a great teamwork to help the needy and serve them with happiness in their eyes. Number 2. Volunteerism. The nature is our responsibility, for we, the humans, are the ones who are benefiting greatly to the Mother Earth. Volunteering for its cleanliness and orderliness is admiring and should be done by each and every people around the world. Number 3. The word is compassion. Reaching out to the children that are still not covered by modernity is a great act of kindness. Sharing the attained knowledge to the youth who needs it the most, for they are the future of our nation, is a meaningful task. Number 4. The word is empathy. Poverty has long been a problem not just in the Philippines but also in other parts of the world, and the condition of these people have worsened when the pandemic struck. However, a lot of people have shown their empathy to the poor and have given a helping hand despite the difficult situations. And the last word, we have commitment. These doctors have been committed to their duty and responsibility despite the risk to their lives, serving with compassion to their patients and giving all their ability to help and fight the catastrophe together with the people.
Probably most of you got the correct answers. Good job! Let us make our ancestors and our heroes proud. Let us show the world that the values that they taught us are not forgotten and still reflected in our actions every day. You did a great job today. You deserve a virtual round of applause. Don't forget to answer your modules and your worksheets for Lesson 2, Week 5 to 8. Again, this is Myra Fuentes, your English teacher. Have fun in learning. See you again on the next episode of English Talk. Have a great day.